This is as close as we can get to the famous and in some ways the infamous Victoria Park. In 1919, this area would have been populated by thousands of people. This was the place where the working class would come every Sunday. There were three big parks that the city had designed for the city: Assiniboine, Kildonan, and Victoria. Victoria was the first, and it was kind of the gem of the city at the time. And on a Sunday, you'd find hundreds and thousands of people that would come from the North End to enjoy a picnic or enjoy sports here, right on the Red River. So this was really important. Now, can you imagine, again, during the strike between May 15th and June 21st, every morning the strikers would meet here. So there'd be thousands, mainly men at the time, congregating. This is where Wordsworth and Pepys and Queen would address them and give them an update on what was happening with the strike. And again, remember, a lot of these men didn't even speak the same language, so they would be translating to each other as they stood in solidarity. So even if there were, differences, at that moment there were one class, one social group. And this was where there's famous photos of all these leaders speaking. So this was the area. Now, kind of the ironic twist of history. History has these beautiful moments, right? Well, this area now is a condo development. There's the hydro station behind. The reason all this is here is that in 1922, the city destroyed the park. As an act of retribution, they destroyed the park. They cut down all the trees, tore up all the grass, and in 1924, they built a heating plant here. And from 1924 to 1984, the heating plant provided heat to the grain exchange, to the banks, to the government building in the exchange area. But they destroyed Victoria Park. There was no marker, there was nothing here to identify that this was Victoria Park. And nowadays, if you ask school children, if you ask most people in the city, where's Victoria Park? No one knows. There's no commemoration of Victoria Park. In 2007, the city was looking for proposals to develop this land before the condos were here, before the hotel was here. And so a group of us put together a proposal to turn this into a memorial for Victoria Park. And it was we called it the Labour History Project. And we had a very well developed, we had an architect do some design work. We were going to create an amphitheater here on the river. So it would have been a meeting place. It would have been a historical monument, an active monument, not just a passive one. The city rejected that and instead sold it to Sunstone Development for this condominium. 2 years later, we put in a request again to at least have the waterfront. We said we'd take it from Juba Park this way up to the Scots Memorial, and we would use this as a memorial. And again, the city turned it down, and instead they sold it to this boutique hotel. To do so, they did two things. First of all, they changed the zoning to allow commercial. In all the city plans up till then, there was no commercial development on the riverfront. It was all public space, and very clearly identified in all the city plans and in all the city zoning that this is public space. So they changed the zoning to allow commercial development. Secondly, in Manitoba, you will find only one commercial development on all the waterfront in the whole province, right here. They broke environmental laws, they ignored them to set up this boutique hotel. And so now, in a way, it's kind of this ironic commemoration of history. On one hand, they destroyed the park. On the other hand, they had to destroy the park because of what it meant to the working people of Winnipeg. And so there's an irony in that. And in the whole city, and this is a bit of a test, I asked people, where are the two plaques? There are two brass plaques commemorating the strike. And no one I've ever gone to knows where they are. One is a very small one in the legislature, and you have to go around one of the corridors to find it. It's hidden away on the side. And the other one is on William Avenue. It's next to the bus station there's a plaque on the little wall, and I would bet 99% of the people that walk by there never even stop to look at the plaque. There was one on City Hall. Remember in the video it said in 1969 there was one put on there? 2 years ago it was taken down for cleaning. It's never been put back.
Still clean?
So it takes 2 years to clean a plaque. But again, it's so now the irony again, to add to the irony, we passed Victoria Parkette up here. Now I have to admit a mistake. I thought it was the city in a token gesture creating a memorial to Victoria Park. And so they created that little insult called Parkette. I found out today, actually, that it was not the city that created Victoria Parkette. It was an individual. It's the owners of the building there who own a lot of property. They're part of the ruling elite. They felt it was important to recognize the presence of Victoria Park. Johnny Brown, the family is Leon Brown Developers. He put up those signs and he designated that land. They want that land to be Victoria Parkette. So I think that's interesting, again, irony upon irony, that the city won't recognize the park, but here these business people at least put up some sign to recognize this important, not just physical space in terms of the general strike, but the moral space that is filled during the strike. This was the communication center, the solidarity center of the strike. Not to insult First Nations people, because I know we're on First Nations Treaty 1 land, but in a way this is the spiritual center of the 1919 strike. This is where the people most often got together to share their experience. Victoria Park.